Ladies and gentlemen, let us delve into a topic that, while uncomfortable, is critical to understanding the human experience: infidelity. Cheating is not merely an act, it is a narrative, a script that people use to justify actions that violate trust. Today we explore the 8 things men who cheat often say, dissecting the layers of their words to uncover the deeper truths they mask. 1. It just happened. How often do we hear this? A phrase designed to absolve oneself of responsibility, as though the act of betrayal were an accident rather than a series of deliberate choices. This statement sidesteps the reality that every action is preceded by intention, even if that intention is to ignore one's conscience. 2. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Here lies the paradox. To say one didn't intend harm is to ignore the very nature of betrayal. Cheating is inherently harmful. It wounds trust, severs intimacy, and dismantles the foundations of a relationship. To deny this is to live in self-deception. 3. She doesn't understand me. This is a classic deflection, a projection of one's dissatisfaction onto the partner. It implies that unmet needs justify unethical behavior, yet no relationship is without its challenges. The question is, why choose deceit over dialogue? 4. It didn't mean anything. What a tragic dismissal of one's own actions. To claim that infidelity is meaningless is to reduce human connection to mere transactions. But actions, especially those that breach trust, always carry meaning whether intended or not. 5. You've changed. Blame shifting. By focusing on perceived flaws in their partner, the cheater avoids looking inward. Relationships are dynamic, and change is inevitable, but it is in how we respond to change that our character is revealed. 6. It's not a big deal. Minimization is a tool to deflect accountability. By downplaying the significance of their actions, the cheater attempts to control the narrative. But trust, once broken, is always a big deal. It is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship. 7. Everyone makes mistakes. While it is true that we are all flawed, this statement conflates imperfection with intentional harm. Mistakes or unintentional cheating is a choice. This false equivalence trivializes the pain caused by betrayal. 8. I'm sorry, but... the conditional apology, a hallmark of half-hearted remorse. True contrition requires full ownership of one's actions without justification or deflection, but negates the apology entirely. The larger issue. Why do these statements matter? Because they reveal a deeper pattern, a refusal to take responsibility, an evasion of self-reflection, and a failure to uphold the values that bind relationships together. They are symptoms of a culture that often prioritizes individual desires over collective well-being. The way forward. To cheat is to fracture not only trust but one's own moral foundation. However, there is hope. Redemption begins with brutal honesty with oneself and with others. It requires facing the pain caused, seeking forgiveness, and committing to a higher standard of integrity. We must strive to be individuals who value truth, who honor our commitments, and who confront our flaws with courage. Because in the end, a life built on lies will always crumble, but one founded on integrity can withstand any storm. At the heart of infidelity lies a complex interplay of motivations that often remain concealed beneath layers of rationalization. Cheating is rarely a spontaneous act. Instead, it emerges from a confluence of internal and external factors that shape a person's behavior. To understand why someone might stray, we must first acknowledge the deep-seated needs and vulnerabilities that drive human relationships. Some individuals cheat out of a sense of emotional dissatisfaction. They may feel neglected, misunderstood, or unfulfilled in their current relationship and turn to another person as a way to fill that perceived void. This longing for connection, however misguided, underscores a failure to address these feelings through open communication and effort within the relationship itself. For others, the motivation stems from a desire for novelty or excitement. They may seek the thrill of newness, the rush of being desired, or the adrenaline of secrecy. Such individuals are often chasing a fleeting sensation that distracts them from deeper insecurities or fears of stagnation in their lives. This pursuit of stimulation, however, often masks a deeper struggle to confront the ordinary challenges and rhythms of long-term commitment. In some cases, infidelity is rooted in power dynamics. A person might cheat as a way to assert control, reclaim autonomy, or even express unresolved anger or resentment toward their partner. These actions are often less about the other person involved and more about an internal struggle for significance or validation. Then, there is the influence of opportunity. In moments of vulnerability or under circumstances where temptation is high, some people succumb to impulses they might otherwise resist. This doesn't excuse the behavior but highlights the importance of self-awareness and the need to guard against situations that compromise one's integrity. Cultural and societal factors also play a role. In a world that often glamorizes individualism and transient pleasure, the value of commitment can feel diminished. Messages from media, peers, or even family can subtly normalize behaviors that erode trust, leading individuals to rationalize their actions as being in line with prevailing norms. The core motivations behind infidelity reveal a universal truth: we are all driven by a desire for connection, meaning, and fulfillment. Yet, when these desires are pursued without regard for honesty or accountability, the consequences ripple far beyond the individual, causing pain and disillusionment for all involved. Understanding these motivations is not about excusing them, but about shining a light on the factors that lead to betrayal so that they can be addressed and, ideally, prevented. Self-deception lies at the very heart of infidelity, serving as both the foundation and the fuel for betrayal. It is the process through which individuals convince themselves that their actions are justified, harmless, or even inevitable, allowing them to navigate the moral dissonance of their behavior. This internal dialogue is often subtle and insidious, evolving gradually as they move further away from the ethical standards they once upheld. When someone cheats, they frequently begin by rationalizing their thoughts long before they act. They might tell themselves that their relationship is beyond repair, that their needs are not being met, or that they deserve more than what they are receiving. These narratives become a way to shift focus away from their own responsibility and toward external factors, making the betrayal seem less like a choice and more like a response to circumstance. This self-deception also involves minimizing the potential consequences of their actions. A cheater might convince themselves that it's not a big deal or no one will ever find out, creating a psychological buffer that allows them to proceed without fully confronting the gravity of their behavior. This denial of consequences serves as a protective mechanism, shielding them from the emotional weight of their choices and the inevitable fallout. Another key aspect of self-deception and infidelity is the distortion of reality. Individuals often rewrite the narrative of their relationship, focusing exclusively on its flaws while erasing its strengths. They may exaggerate conflicts, amplify their partner's perceived shortcomings, or downplay the love and commitment that still exists. This selective framing provides a convenient justification for seeking solace elsewhere, even if it means betraying the very values they once cherished. Self-deception also manifests in the compartmentalization of their actions. Cheaters often separate their infidelity from the rest of their lives, convincing themselves that what happens in one sphere doesn't affect the other. They create mental barriers, treating their betrayal as an isolated event rather than an act that undermines the trust and intimacy in their relationship. This compartmentalization enables them to maintain a facade of normalcy, both to themselves and to others. Perhaps most damaging is the way self-deception erodes a person's sense of integrity. By continually bending their moral compass to fit their desires, they lose sight of the person they aspire to be. This dissonance creates an internal conflict that can manifest as guilt, anxiety, or a diminished sense of self-worth. Over time, the lies they tell themselves become indistinguishable from the lies they tell others, trapping them in a cycle of dishonesty that is difficult to escape. Self-deception is not merely a byproduct of infidelity, it is its enabler. It allows individuals to betray the trust of others while avoiding the uncomfortable truths about their own character. Addressing this tendency requires a commitment to radical honesty, both with oneself and with others, a willingness to confront the difficult realities of one's actions, and the courage to choose integrity over convenience. Without this, the cycle of betrayal and self-deception is bound to repeat, leaving pain and regret in its wake. Patterns of excuses are the linguistic and psychological tools people use to deflect accountability when they have acted in ways that betray trust, such as cheating. These excuses are not random, they follow predictable patterns that reveal the underlying mechanisms of denial, justification, and avoidance. By examining these patterns, we can gain insight into the deeper psychological dynamics at play and the ways individuals attempt to protect themselves from the repercussions of their actions. One of the most common patterns is the use of minimization, where the cheater downplays the significance of their actions. Statements like "it didn't mean anything" or "it was just a mistake" are designed to reduce the emotional weight of their betrayal. These phrases attempt to frame infidelity as a momentary lapse in judgment rather than a deliberate choice, thereby lessening the perceived impact on the relationship. By minimizing their behavior, the cheater seeks to avoid fully confronting the harm they have caused. Another frequent pattern is blame shifting, where the responsibility for the infidelity is redirected toward the partner or external circumstances. Phrases like "you've changed" or "she doesn't understand me" are not just excuses but narratives that paint the cheater as a victim of their relationship rather than the perpetrator of betrayal. By focusing on their partner's perceived flaws or the relationship's challenges, they create a justification for their actions that absolves them of personal accountability. Appeals to inevitability are another common thread in the pattern of excuses. Statements such as "it just happened" or "I couldn't help myself" suggest that the act of cheating was beyond their control, as if it were the result of some external force rather than a series of conscious decisions. This framing is deeply deceptive because it erases the agency involved in every step leading to the betrayal, from the initial thoughts to the actions themselves. There is also the pattern of universalization, where the cheater attempts to normalize their behavior by appealing to the flawed nature of humanity. Statements like "everyone makes mistakes" or "nobody's perfect" are used to deflect attention from their specific actions and to dilute the seriousness of their behavior by framing it as something ordinary. While it's true that imperfection is a part of being human, this excuse overlooks the deliberate nature of infidelity and its profound consequences. Emotional manipulation is often woven into these excuses, where the cheater seeks to elicit sympathy or shift focus away from their actions. For example, they might say, "I didn't mean to hurt anyone," or "I've been feeling so lonely." These statements are designed to evoke understanding and redirect the conversation toward their feelings rather than the betrayal itself. While emotional struggles can contribute to relationship issues, they do not justify deceit or infidelity. Another significant pattern involves conditional apologies, such as "I'm sorry, but," or "if you hadn't." These apologies are not genuine acknowledgments of wrongdoing but attempts to mitigate blame. The inclusion of a "but" or a conditional clause negates the apology, turning it into a veiled criticism of the partner or a justification for their behavior. This pattern reveals an unwillingness to take full responsibility for their actions. There is the use of distraction and deflection, where the cheater attempts to steer the conversation away from their behavior and toward unrelated issues. They might bring up past grievances, highlight their partner's mistakes, or focus on unrelated problems to dilute the intensity of the situation. This tactic not only avoids accountability but also shifts the power dynamics in the conversation, making it harder for the betrayed partner to address the core issue. These patterns of excuses are more than just words, they are psychological strategies that cheaters use to protect their self-image and avoid the discomfort of accountability. Recognizing these patterns is essential for anyone seeking to navigate the aftermath of infidelity, whether as the betrayed partner or the one who has strayed. True accountability begins when these excuses are dismantled and the individual confronts the reality of their choices and the harm they have caused. The erosion of trust is one of the most profound and devastating consequences of infidelity, impacting not just the betrayed partner, but also the cheater and the relationship itself. Trust is the foundation upon which any meaningful relationship is built, and when it is violated, the ripple effects can reach into every corner of a person's emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. Understanding how trust is eroded provides insight into why infidelity causes such deep and lasting wounds and why rebuilding trust is a monumental challenge. At its core, trust is about reliability, honesty, and faith in another person's intentions and actions. It is the belief that your partner has your best interests at heart and will act in ways that uphold your shared commitments. Infidelity shatters this belief system. The moment a partner discovers betrayal, the sense of safety and security they once felt is replaced by doubt, fear, and suspicion. Suddenly, what once felt predictable and stable becomes uncertain and precarious. The erosion of trust doesn't occur in a vacuum. It often begins long before the act of infidelity is revealed. Cheaters typically engage in behaviors that signal something is amiss: emotional withdrawal, increased secrecy, or unusual defensiveness. These changes may be subtle, but they plant the seeds of doubt in the partner's mind. Even if they can't articulate it, the betrayed partner often senses that something fundamental has shifted in the relationship. Once the betrayal comes to light, the damage to trust becomes explicit and undeniable. Infidelity creates a profound sense of betrayal because it undermines the very promises upon which the relationship was built. Whether those promises were formal vows or unspoken understandings, the breach is experienced as a deep personal violation. For the betrayed partner, it feels as though the cheater has rewritten the rules of the relationship without their knowledge or consent. The aftermath of infidelity often brings with it a cascade of questions that further erode trust. The betrayed partner may wonder, how long has this been going on? What else have they lied about? Or what is real and what is not? These questions are not merely about the specific act of cheating, but about the broader implications of deception. They call into question the validity of past experiences, shared memories, and even the cheater's feelings for their partner. For the cheater, the erosion of trust has its own consequences. Many struggle with guilt, shame, and the realization that their actions have not only harmed their partner, but also their own sense of integrity. They may find it difficult to regain their partner's trust because they themselves may feel unworthy of it. This internal conflict can create additional barriers to rebuilding the relationship. The loss of trust also extends beyond the immediate relationship. Betrayed partners often find it difficult to trust others, including friends, family, and future partners. They may question their own judgment, wondering how they could have missed the signs of betrayal. This self-doubt can lead to a reluctance to open up or form deep connections in the future, as they fear being hurt again. The erosion of trust doesn't just harm individuals, it disrupts the relationship dynamic itself. Communication becomes fraught with tension, as every word or action is scrutinized for hidden meaning. Intimacy is compromised as the betrayed partner may struggle to feel emotionally or physically safe. Even seemingly innocuous actions, like a delayed response to a text or a missed phone call, can trigger suspicion and anxiety. Rebuilding trust after it has been eroded by infidelity is an arduous process that requires time, effort, and unwavering commitment from both partners. It begins with the cheater taking full responsibility for their actions, offering transparency, and demonstrating consistent, trustworthy behavior over time. For the betrayed partner, it involves navigating their pain and deciding whether they are willing and able to take the risk of trusting again. The erosion of trust is not just about the act of betrayal, it is about the loss of the emotional safety, reliability, and connection that trust provides. While trust can be rebuilt, the scars of its erosion often remain, serving as a reminder of the fragility and preciousness of this foundational element of relationships. Responsibility avoidance is a central aspect of infidelity, serving as a mechanism for cheaters to deflect accountability for their actions. It manifests in various forms, ranging from outright denial to more subtle shifts in language and behavior that minimize their role in the betrayal. At its core, responsibility avoidance allows individuals to shield themselves from the emotional discomfort, guilt and social repercussions of their actions, while leaving their partners to grapple with the consequences. Understanding this phenomenon is key to recognizing the barriers to healing and resolution in the aftermath of infidelity. One of the most common strategies for avoiding responsibility is blame shifting, where the cheater redirects fault toward their partner or external circumstances. Statements like, "You weren't meeting my needs," or "We've been fighting a lot lately," are designed to reframe the infidelity as a reaction to the relationship's shortcomings rather than a deliberate choice. This tactic not only absolves the cheater of responsibility, but also places an unjust burden on the betrayed partner, who is left questioning their own role in the betrayal. Closely related to blame shifting is the use of justifications, where the cheater attempts to rationalize their behavior as being warranted under the circumstances. They might argue that the relationship was already failing, that they were emotionally neglected, or that they were driven to cheat because of unmet desires. While these justifications may reflect real challenges in the relationship, they fail to acknowledge that infidelity is not an inevitable response to hardship, but a choice to address those difficulties through deceit rather than honesty. Another tactic is minimization, where the cheater downplays the significance of their actions. Phrases like "it wasn't a big deal," or "it only happened once," are meant to reduce the perceived gravity of their betrayal. By framing the infidelity as a minor mistake rather than a fundamental breach of trust, they attempt to sidestep the accountability required for genuine reconciliation. However, this approach often exacerbates the hurt felt by the betrayed partner, as it dismisses the emotional impact of the betrayal. Denial and defensiveness are also hallmark behaviors of responsibility avoidance. Some cheaters may outright deny their actions when confronted, even in the face of evidence, as a way to prolong the illusion of innocence. Others may become defensive, responding to accusations with anger, counterattacks, or emotional withdrawal. This defensive posture serves to shut down meaningful dialogue, making it difficult for the betrayed partner to seek clarity or resolution. In some cases, cheaters may resort to emotional manipulation to deflect responsibility. They might play the victim, highlighting their own struggles or vulnerabilities to garner sympathy and shift focus away from their actions. For instance, they might say, "I've been so stressed lately," or "I didn't know how to handle my feelings." While emotional struggles can provide context, they do not excuse betrayal or the avoidance of accountability. A more insidious form of responsibility avoidance is gaslighting, where the cheater manipulates their partner into doubting their perceptions or memories. They might dismiss concerns as paranoia, deny past conversations, or even accuse their partner of being overly suspicious. This tactic not only avoids accountability but also undermines the betrayed partner's confidence and sense of reality, making it harder for them to confront the truth. Even when cheaters do acknowledge their actions, they may employ conditional apologies that dilute their responsibility. Phrases like, "I'm sorry, but you need to understand," or "I regret what I did, but you pushed me to it," combine an admission of guilt with an implicit blame on the partner or circumstances. These half-hearted apologies fail to convey genuine remorse and often serve to perpetuate the cycle of avoidance. At its core, responsibility avoidance is driven by a desire to protect one's self-image and avoid the discomfort of facing the consequences of one's actions. However, this approach only deepens the wounds of betrayal, as it denies the betrayed partner the validation and accountability needed for healing. True reconciliation requires a complete break from these avoidance patterns. For the cheater, this means embracing full accountability by acknowledging the betrayal without excuses, justifications, or deflections. It involves being honest about their actions, empathizing with the pain they have caused, and committing to transparency moving forward. For the betrayed partner, recognizing responsibility avoidance is a crucial step in setting boundaries and demanding the honesty and accountability necessary for rebuilding trust or deciding to move on. Avoiding responsibility may provide temporary relief for the cheater, but it perpetuates the damage caused by infidelity and delays the possibility of genuine resolution. Taking responsibility, though difficult, is the only path toward growth, healing, and the restoration of integrity in any relationship. Infidelity has a profound and often devastating impact on self-identity, affecting both the cheater and the betrayed partner in deeply personal ways. Self-identity, the understanding and perception of oneself, can be shaken to its core when the foundations of trust, commitment, and mutual respect are undermined. The repercussions extend far beyond the immediate emotional pain, influencing how individuals view themselves, their values, and their place in the world. For the betrayed partner, infidelity often triggers a crisis of self-worth. Discovering that a partner has been unfaithful can lead to intense feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and insecurity. They may begin to question their own value, wondering if they were not enough to keep their partner's attention, or if they somehow failed to meet the needs of the relationship. This questioning can spiral into a distorted perception of themselves, where they blame their own flaws for the betrayal rather than recognizing it as a choice made by the cheater. The betrayal also disrupts the betrayed partner's sense of reality and personal agency. They may feel as though their ability to judge character, trust others, or even make decisions has been compromised. The foundation of their identity, shaped by beliefs about love, loyalty, and their role in the relationship, is suddenly fractured. This destabilization can leave them feeling lost, unsure of who they are outside the relationship or what they stand for moving forward. For the cheater, the impact on self-identity is equally complex, though often less immediately visible. Engaging in infidelity often creates a profound sense of internal conflict. Most people hold themselves to certain moral or ethical standards, and cheating directly contradicts these values. This dissonance can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and self-loathing as the cheater grapples with the realization that their actions are at odds with the person they aspire to be. This conflict can also lead to fragmentation in the cheater's self-identity. To reconcile their actions with their self-perception, they may compartmentalize their behavior, creating a divide between the person who cheated and the person they believe themselves to be. While this psychological distancing may temporarily ease guilt, it often leaves the cheater feeling disconnected from their true self, creating a lingering sense of inauthenticity and unresolved inner turmoil. Infidelity can also force both parties to confront deeper existential questions about their identity and life choices. The betrayed partner may wonder what their role in the relationship truly meant, or whether they were living in alignment with their values. They may question the meaning of commitment, love, and trust, not just in their current relationship, but in any future relationships as well. This introspection, while painful, can also serve as a catalyst for personal growth, prompting them to redefine their self-worth and priorities independent of the relationship. For the cheater, infidelity often exposes vulnerabilities and unmet needs that they may not have been fully aware of before. They may begin to question why they strayed, what they were seeking, and whether their actions were a reflection of unresolved personal issues rather than problems in the relationship. This process of self-examination can be both illuminating and deeply uncomfortable, as it forces them to confront parts of themselves they may have previously avoided. The impact of infidelity on self-identity is further compounded by societal and cultural expectations. Betrayed partners often feel a sense of shame or embarrassment, fearing judgment from others who may view them as weak, naive, or complicit in the betrayal. Similarly, cheaters may feel ostracized or labeled as immoral, regardless of the complexities that led to their actions. These external pressures can intensify the internal struggle, making it even more difficult for both parties to rebuild their sense of self. Recovering from the impact of infidelity on self-identity requires time, introspection, and often external support. For the betrayed partner, this journey involves reclaiming their sense of worth, rebuilding their confidence, and rediscovering who they are outside the context of the relationship. It may also involve challenging the self-blame and negative beliefs that often arise in the wake of betrayal. For the cheater, recovery involves taking full responsibility for their actions and engaging in honest self-reflection to understand the deeper motivations behind their behavior. It requires a commitment to realigning their actions with their values and working to rebuild trust, not just with their partner, if reconciliation is possible, but also with themselves. Infidelity has the potential to reshape self-identity in profound ways. While it often begins as a destructive force, it can also serve as a turning point for growth, self-awareness, and transformation. By confronting the pain, examining the underlying issues, and committing to personal integrity, both parties have the opportunity to emerge stronger, with a deeper understanding of themselves and their values. Societal reflections on infidelity reveal how deeply the issue is intertwined with cultural norms, values, and expectations. Infidelity is not merely a personal matter between individuals, it is also a mirror that reflects societal attitudes about relationships, morality, gender roles, and the complexities of human behavior. How society views and responds to infidelity plays a significant role in shaping the experiences of those involved, as well as influencing broader conversations about trust, commitment, and ethics. One of the most striking societal reflections is the pervasive stigma attached to infidelity. Cheating is widely condemned across cultures, often viewed as a moral failure or a betrayal of sacred vows. This moral judgment serves as a societal mechanism for enforcing norms around fidelity and commitment, reinforcing the idea that trust and loyalty are foundational to healthy relationships. However, this stigma can also lead to shame, secrecy, and a lack of open dialogue about the complexities and root causes of infidelity. The societal discourse around infidelity is often shaped by gender dynamics, which influence how cheating is perceived and judged depending on who commits it. Historically, men have been more likely to be excused or even normalized for infidelity, with societal narratives framing it as an extension of biological impulses or a sign of dissatisfaction in their relationship. In contrast, women who cheat have often been harshly judged, labeled as disloyal or immoral, and subjected to greater social ostracism. Although these attitudes are shifting in many parts of the world, remnants of these double standards persist, reflecting deeper societal beliefs about gender roles and expectations in relationships. Media and popular culture also play a significant role in shaping societal reflections on infidelity. Films, television shows, and literature often portray cheating as a dramatic, romantic, or tragic event, sometimes glamorizing it as a means of pursuing passion or self-discovery. These portrayals can normalize infidelity or create unrealistic expectations about love and relationships, while also glossing over the profound pain and damage it causes. At the same time, media coverage of high-profile infidelity scandals often fuels public fascination and judgment, turning private betrayals into spectacles of moral debate. Another critical societal reflection is how infidelity intersects with cultural norms around monogamy and relationship structures. In cultures where monogamy is the dominant model, infidelity is seen as a direct violation of a deeply ingrained social contract. However, in societies or subcultures that embrace more flexible relationship structures such as polyamory or open relationships, the concept of cheating may be defined differently. These variations highlight the ways in which societal attitudes toward fidelity are shaped by cultural, religious, and historical contexts. Societal reflections also reveal the impact of technology and modern communication on infidelity. In the digital age, opportunities for emotional and physical cheating have expanded through dating apps, social media, and instant messaging. Technology has blurred the lines between casual flirtation and deeper betrayals, creating new challenges for defining and addressing infidelity. At the same time, the accessibility of technology has made it easier for people to discover and expose cheating, further amplifying its societal visibility and consequences. The way society handles the aftermath of infidelity is another area of reflection. In many cultures, there is a strong emphasis on preserving marriages and relationships, sometimes to the detriment of the betrayed partner's emotional well-being. Religious or cultural pressures may encourage individuals to forgive and reconcile, even in cases where the betrayal has caused irreparable harm. This societal push for reconciliation can leave betrayed partners feeling unsupported or invalidated in their decision to leave a relationship. Conversely, there is a growing movement in modern society that emphasizes individual empowerment and self-respect, encouraging people to prioritize their own emotional health and boundaries after infidelity. This shift reflects changing attitudes about relationships, where personal fulfillment and equality are increasingly valued over traditional notions of sacrifice and endurance. At a broader level, infidelity serves as a lens through which society grapples with deeper questions about human nature and morality. Why do people cheat, even when they profess love for their partner? Is fidelity a natural state, or is it an ideal that conflicts with human desires? These questions challenge rigid moral frameworks and invite more nuanced discussions about the complexities of relationships, including the role of communication, unmet needs, and personal growth. Societal reflections on infidelity often reveal a tension between judgment and empathy. While infidelity is almost universally seen as harmful, there is also an increasing recognition of the importance of understanding the context and motivations behind it. This shift toward empathy does not excuse betrayal but seeks to address its root causes, fostering a more constructive dialogue about how to prevent it and heal from its consequences. Societal reflections on infidelity are as complex and multifaceted as the act itself. They illuminate the values, contradictions, and evolving dynamics of human relationships, offering both challenges and opportunities for growth. By engaging with these reflections, society can move toward a more compassionate and informed understanding of infidelity, one that balances accountability with a deeper awareness of the human condition. The cost of betrayal is vast and multifaceted, leaving deep scars that extend far beyond the immediate pain of discovering infidelity. Betrayal in a relationship isn't just about the act of cheating, it's about the breach of trust, the violation of emotional and sometimes physical safety, and the ripple effects that touch every aspect of the lives involved. Its costs can be emotional, psychological, relational, and even societal, revealing the profound impact of such a breach of commitment. The emotional toll of betrayal is often the most immediate and apparent. For the betrayed partner, the discovery of infidelity can trigger a storm of intense emotions, including shock, anger, sadness, confusion, and despair. These emotions are compounded by a sense of loss, not just the loss of the relationship as it was, but the loss of the future they believed they were building together. This grief can feel overwhelming as the betrayed partner grapples with the realization that the life they thought they knew has been irrevocably altered. Psychologically, betrayal can cause deep and lasting damage. Many betrayed partners experience feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, questioning their worth, attractiveness, or value as a partner. They may replay events in their minds, searching for signs they missed or ways they could have prevented the betrayal. This rumination often leads to a cycle of self-blame, even though the responsibility for the infidelity lies squarely with the cheater. Over time, this psychological burden can contribute to anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self. For the cheater, the psychological cost of betrayal often manifests as guilt, shame, and regret. While some may initially seek to justify or minimize their actions, many eventually face the reality of the harm they've caused. This can lead to a crisis of self-identity, as they struggle to reconcile their actions with their values and the person they aspire to be. The weight of knowing they've hurt someone they care about can be a heavy burden, leading to emotional distress and a fractured sense of self-worth. The relational costs of betrayal are equally profound. Trust, the cornerstone of any healthy relationship, is shattered by infidelity, leaving both partners to navigate a landscape of suspicion, fear, and emotional distance. For the betrayed partner, even small, everyday interactions can become fraught with doubt as they question the sincerity and motives behind their partner's words and actions. For the cheater, the challenge lies in demonstrating genuine remorse and rebuilding trust, a process that requires time, effort, and unwavering commitment. Betrayal doesn't just affect the individuals directly involved, it also impacts the broader social network surrounding the relationship. Friends and family often find themselves drawn into the fallout, forced to navigate their own feelings of disappointment, anger, or confusion. They may feel compelled to take sides, offer support, or mediate conflicts, which can strain their own relationships and create divisions within the social circle. For couples with children, the cost of betrayal extends even further. Infidelity can disrupt the family dynamic, creating a tense or unstable environment for children. They may sense the emotional distance between their parents or even witness arguments and confrontations, leading to feelings of insecurity or confusion. In some cases, children may internalize the conflict, blaming themselves or struggling with their own issues of trust and self-worth. On a broader level, the societal cost of betrayal is reflected in the way it challenges the norms and expectations of relationships. Infidelity undermines the cultural narrative that love and commitment are unbreakable bonds, forcing society to confront the complexities and imperfections of human behavior. This can lead to cynicism about relationships as people question whether true fidelity and lasting commitment are achievable. At the same time, it can also inspire deeper conversations about how to build healthier, more resilient partnerships. The financial cost of betrayal is another dimension that is often overlooked. For married couples or long-term partners, infidelity can lead to costly separations, divorces, and legal battles. Beyond the legal expenses, the process of dividing assets, relocating, or establishing separate households can place a significant financial burden on both parties. Even in non-marital relationships, the logistical challenges of ending a partnership, such as moving out, splitting shared belongings, or re-establishing financial independence, can be both stressful and expensive. Recovering from the cost of betrayal is a long and arduous process. For the betrayed partner, healing often requires not only time but also active efforts to rebuild their sense of self-worth and trust in others. This might involve seeking therapy, building a strong support network, and engaging in self-care practices that foster resilience and self-compassion. For the cheater, recovery involves taking full accountability for their actions, demonstrating genuine remorse, and committing to personal growth and transparency. The cost of betrayal serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of trust, honesty, and communication in relationships. While the pain of infidelity can feel insurmountable, it also presents an opportunity for reflection, learning, and transformation. By confronting the costs head-on and committing to growth, both individuals and society can work toward creating stronger, more authentic connections that honor the value of trust and fidelity. The path to redemption after infidelity is a challenging but transformative journey requiring deep introspection, accountability, and a commitment to change. For the cheater, redemption begins with full acknowledgement of their actions without excuses or justifications. Taking responsibility means facing the pain they've caused, expressing genuine remorse, and offering an honest and unflinching apology. This step is crucial for beginning to rebuild trust and showing the betrayed partner that they are committed to repairing the damage. Equally important is transparency. The cheater must demonstrate consistency in their words and actions, providing clarity and openness to alleviate lingering doubts. This might include being forthcoming about their whereabouts, interactions, and intentions, as trust once broken must be earned back through unwavering honesty over time. For the betrayed partner, the path to redemption involves finding ways to process the pain and decide whether forgiveness and reconciliation are possible. This often requires setting boundaries, seeking support from trusted friends or professionals, and engaging in self-care to rebuild their sense of self-worth and emotional stability. Forgiveness, if chosen, is not about condoning the betrayal, but rather about freeing oneself from the grip of anger and bitterness. Mutual healing is possible when both partners commit to open communication, empathy, and a shared effort to understand the underlying issues that contributed to the betrayal. Whether through therapy or honest dialogue, this process fosters growth not just as individuals but also as a couple. Redemption requires time, patience, and unwavering effort. While the pain of infidelity may never be fully erased, the lessons learned through the process can lead to stronger, more authentic relationships grounded in trust, respect, and accountability. A call to higher standards is a crucial step in rebuilding and strengthening relationships after infidelity. It challenges both partners to rise above past mistakes and commit to more ethical, honest, and respectful behavior moving forward. For the cheater, this means embracing personal accountability, rejecting justifications or excuses, and striving for integrity in every aspect of their actions. It involves setting a higher bar for their values, behaviors, and relationships, committing to growth, self-awareness, and the pursuit of healthier patterns of communication and connection. For the betrayed partner, the call to higher standards involves recognizing their worth, setting boundaries that protect their emotional health, and holding their partner to a higher level of respect and honesty. It encourages them to demand the level of commitment and trust they deserve, refusing to accept anything less than genuine, consistent effort from the person who betrayed them. Together, a call to higher standards creates a foundation for rebuilding the relationship based on mutual respect, trust, and transparency. It also encourages both individuals to evolve as better versions of themselves, fostering personal growth and creating the possibility for a more fulfilling, authentic partnership. It's not just about fixing the past, but about cultivating a future where both partners can thrive and hold each other to their highest potential.